Welcome to Simple Man Radio, January 11th, 2021. We got ourselves a little wild card recap. We're going to have to talk about Steve Cohen. He may have gotten himself in a little bit of trouble. We'll talk about him. We've got a Florida man story from right down the street from me at the end of the show, and word of the day. So put in your submissions for word of the day if you're in the live chat right now. Danny, how you doing, man? How was your wild card weekend? Like 6 games. That was a lot.
It was a lot, but I enjoyed it just being able to sit down on my couch and do nothing for about 10 plus hours. I enjoyed it. It was a good weekend. Saturday's games were a little bit better than Sunday's games, but nonetheless, it was a good weekend.
How did 6 games in one weekend is a ton. Like, it is a lot. Like, it was, you kind of had, we're not doing sugar tits as the word of the day. But it's a lot. Like, it's 24, it's basically 24 hours of mandatory viewers, and I like to clean on the weekends and stuff, so I was like, between halftime I was like, like mopping the floors and all that stuff, and it was, so I am looking forward to just the 4 games next week that start at 3:00, and I feel like that's perfect, man. It's like you almost have an entire Sunday, and then you get to finish it off with football, and then when the football games end, you've got time, like you have time to spare after that too.
No, yeah, I mean, it was, the NFL only did this because, more money, and who hates more money. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a lot to take in, but I can't sit here and say I despised any second of it. It was a solid weekend though.
Okay, so Hot Dog put word of the day, Frank Ntilikina. So we're just gonna go Frank. How about that? Can we just use Frank as the word of the day?
Yeah, we could just do Frank.
All right, let's do the word. So if this is your first time watching, like, what's word of the day? It's like usually you hear word of the day and you're like, oh, they're gonna explain to us, like, what that word means. No, this means we are gonna search that name on Twitter, and then we're gonna harass somebody that uses it. So I type in Frank. I look latest. The issue with Frank, though, we're gonna have to not do names because then you just have people named Frank that are coming up. Okay, we got Frank Castle's BF saying thank you, I love him.
Yeah,
talking about something.
That's perfect. I think.
All right, dude, stop playing and fronting with an apostrophe. We all know you are all bark and no bite.
Oh, no bite.
Weirdo. I like finishing them off with weirdo.
Hey, that's perfect. It's a perfect way to end it.
Oh, here's the cops. Here's the cops.
Where are they going now? They going to catch Florida man?
I don't know. They might. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. So we'll check back in.
And first, not important news, Lindor's doing his press conference. It's a beautiful sight seeing him in a
Is that killing you right now that you're not getting to watch it live?
A little bit, but I'll let the reporters do their job and I'll go back and watch it.
Are they live streaming it?
Oh, yeah. I'll just marvel in Lindor after this.
Yeah, well, you'll get to check it out later and stuff. All right. Let's talk about the wild card weekend. We'll check back in on word of the day later. Last night, Browns 48, Steelers 37. Browns go off to a 28-0 lead in the first quarter. I mean, it was just a meltdown by Pittsburgh. It was, it was Big Ben throwing bad passes getting tipped up in the air and intercepted, and then the Browns taking advantage. Yet, it felt like the Steelers were going to come back at one point. I mean, they were down by 12, and then they punt at 4th and 1 with like 10 minutes left in the game. I know that's going to be the decision that everyone talks about, but it's because it should be. Like, I just don't understand how you are down that much. You were 12 points down with 10 minutes left, and you punt. I just don't. I don't get that from Mike Tomlin. So I get that it's the thing that everyone's saying, but I think everyone's saying it for a reason. You can't punt there. You have to go for it. It's 4th and 1. Okay, it's not like it's 4th and 7, and then people are saying like, "Oh, you gotta go for it, analytics." It's like, no, it's 4th and 1. If this decision was made 30 years ago, it wouldn't make sense.
Well, and there was also that one when they were down 28-0. They went for it. They punted it at Cleveland's 38-yard line. I'm pretty sure that's where they were on the field. That was egregious. You're down 28. What are you doing punting the football there? Granted, they almost did it, but yeah, that's going to be the talk of the town today on any NFL or sports show. It's going to be, why did Mike Tomlin punt it there? And like you said, this isn't like a debate about analytics and what's right. No, it's just common sense. You go for it there. Most teams would.
Yeah. Do you think? Well, let's talk about the Browns. Do you think they have any chance against Kansas City? I'm trying to convince myself that they do so we can have a good game next week. But I just think they almost blew this game. Like they were up 28-0 after the first quarter and almost blew this game. And I think the Steelers, like if you play them again, the Steelers probably win this game. And they beat them, or once earlier in the season, and then they lost with Mason Rudolph. I don't know. Actually, let's save that. Do you think this is Big Ben's last game? Because it was kind of crazy seeing him throw the ball 71 times when you include 2-point conversions last night.
I think it is his last game, just because that look he had on the bench before they went to the commercial, and then when they came back and they showed him crying or like shedding tears, I think it is the end of Ben Roethlisberger. And you can't, and like because of the elbow surgery and the Steelers possibly losing Juju, James, and Big Ben, it has a $41 million cap hit next year. That's a lot to absorb for Pittsburgh.
Let me put it this way: it's not for sure he's coming back because he sat on that bench. His body language, him, shedding some tears, showed that it's like, what, this may be the end. Like he kind of was soaking in, like this may be the end. And I mean, you got to feel for a guy. I mean, he's been in the league for 16 years now, and that's rarely do you get to go out on top. And when you're in the playoffs, it's usually going to go. It ends tragically instead of finishing off with a regular season finale or a regular season loss where, you're not really caring about the result a ton. If it's the end, man, Big Ben had a hell of a career. I know we have a lot of Giants fans that, that are going to listen to this and watch this. His career is awesome. I think most people would say it's better than Eli's. I think it's pretty close. But Big Ben had an awesome career, dude. And it's pretty cool to see him and Eli and probably Phillip Rivers, which we'll talk about later, retire towards the end. But I like Big Ben's career. I don't feel any need to slander what Big Ben has done over his career.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know there's people that have issues with Big Ben regarding his past, and that's all warranted. Don't get me wrong. That's all warranted. But the guy, he did a lot for that city of Pittsburgh. And yeah, that 2004 draft class would probably go down as one of the best QB draft classes anyone will ever see.
I really do think it's just the number 2. Like you got, the Elway Marino class.
Oh, well, that's before my time, so I can't sit here and claim that.
Yeah, but it's like I think everyone looks at that as the number 1, and then after that, I would go that 04 QB class, which we can talk about a little bit later with Phillip Rivers. Yeah, I mean, I remember 2004 that the Eli's rookie year. His first good game was against the Steelers on a Saturday, 33-30. So I mean, I give Big Ben a ton of credit. I like watching him. And remember who your Daniel Jones player comp was, who I actually agreed with a ton, and I didn't hear anyone saying it, is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, I really do think his player comp is Big Ben. And I know people are like, well, this like player comp doesn't mean they're the exact same player. I get there's different things about Jones and there's different things about Ben, but I do think that is a pretty similar player comp playing style.
Another quick question: do you think this was the last time we saw Juju and James Conner playing for Pittsburgh?
I can see Conner coming back cheap because he is a Pittsburgh guy. Juju, I think he's done. I think someone gives him money. I don't think he'll be with the Giants or anything, but I do think Juju is done in Pittsburgh. And we'll see if he's actually a good wide receiver or if he's another one of the Pittsburgh guys who was, really good in Pittsburgh and then kind of dies off somewhere else. Even though actually Mike Wallace was really the only guy that did that. Like Emmanuel Sanders was good. Antonio Brown was good. Plaxico Burress was good. So, but I do think Juju moves on from Pittsburgh. I do think if Big Ben retires, I do think they kind of enter a mini maybe like a 1-year rebuilding stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they still have all the talent. They just got to get the quarterback, and they still have Chase Claypool, who's a solid wide receiver. So they just got to build around him.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they do at QB if they look for somebody in the draft, if they trade for a guy like Darnold or bring in a vet. I don't know what they'll do. Or hell, maybe Big Ben does come back and they try and keep the game together, even though Big Ben has a $41 million cap hit against them. So we'll see. Next, Saints 21, Bears 9. I don't want to talk about the game a ton. I want to talk about Nickelodeon. I watched basically the entire game on the Nickelodeon broadcast. I actually thought it was kind of cool.
I watched the first half, a good chunk of the first half on Nickelodeon. Then I kind of switched over to CBS for a little bit. But then for the end, when I realized this game was over, I went back to Nickelodeon. My one problem was the girl was there because she worked for Nickelodeon. She was the worst part of that broadcast. She was there for the kids, and I don't know why I'm complaining, but she was the worst part of that broadcast.
Yeah, it was cool for me for one game. Like if they put it on, like on Nickelodeon every Sunday, I'm not going to watch the Nickelodeon broadcast. Like it was cool novelty idea for one Sunday, but long term I'm not watching. But I mean, I was having fun with it, screwing around, making jokes. And then the adults ruined it by this. They made Mitch Trubisky the MVP, the Nickelodeon valuable player. Trubisky probably played his last game as a Bear, and he wins MVP. He got 49% of the vote. Danny, with like 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, he had like 31%. And then Barstool Big Cat started going off, and everyone, I mean, jumped the vote. And I mean, the Saints who won, their highest player was Cam Jordan with 8%.
I'm surprised Nickelodeon just didn't try and fix it because they're like, we know that was so funny when they started going Mitch for MVP and then it actually started happening. I was like, no way. I voted for him. I can't lie. I voted for
him like 30 times. I kept on refreshing and voting for him as many times as I could. I mean, I wanted to see them force Mitch to do an interview. They didn't do that. You could tell, this was like some nice child's thing. And they you could tell Nate Burleson's like, freaking adults. Like, are you serious? Like, I know you guys are trolling.
Yeah.
Trolling this.
It was hilarious though.
MVP Mitch. They put that on his Pro Football Reference. His stat page is like 2021 MVP.
And hey, Patrick Mahomes has never won it. Deshaun Watson has never won it. Mitch Trubisky's the first ever MVP. So history right there.
Well, my favorites, they scored that touchdown with like 0 seconds left. Like Bears fans are like dying inside. And then like the girl's like, epic.
No, my favorite was Jimmy grabs the one-handed, just walks off into the locker room.
Yeah, he's probably not going to come back to Chicago. That was like the last time. Jimmy Graham might retire.
I don't blame him. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to go back to Chicago.
MVP Mitch. That was good. What was your favorite Nickelodeon show growing up? I was a Rugrats guy.
I was either SpongeBob or Fairly Odd Parents guy.
Yeah, SpongeBob was definitely. I remember like the first episode of SpongeBob. Like I remember the commercials getting ready for SpongeBob, and now he's like a mainstay in American culture now.
What I don't know what the heck that new SpongeBob is, but that is horrendously bad.
Do they put that on TV, or is that like just for commercials?
No, that's it's on like streaming service. I forgot which one.
Oh yeah, I did not like that. Trying to think if there's any other like funny moments. They didn't slime anyone. That would piss me off. Like I want to see.
They got Sean Payton at the end. If you didn't see,
they did.
Yeah, they did hit Sean Payton with the slime.
Oh.
They messed up the Drake and Josh reference. They called him Josh Peck, but his real name's Josh Peck. The character's name was Josh Nichols. So they messed up that Drake and Josh reference, which was amazing. Great job.
I didn't notice that one. Nate Burleson did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah. Also, I saw you tweeted this out, and I agree with it. That Noah Eagle is he like Iron Eagle's son, or how'd you say it again?
Yes, he is Iron Eagle's son. They sound the exact same.
How'd you say it again? Because you were bothering people with that tweet.
Oh, I was like, Noah Eagle, Iron Eagle's son Noah looks exactly like him. Are they related? And people are like, what? like you just answered your question, dude.
It was a great tweet. I liked it.
All right. Ravens 20, Titans 13. I mean, Lamar ran for 136 yards. His passing wasn't great. I mean, he had that horrible interception to start, and it looked like the Titans are going to win this game. The Ravens play next week. They play the
Buffalo
Bills, which we can talk about. I don't know what to think of Lamar. Like they got the playoff win, but it certainly wasn't pretty. And it was their defense. It was the Ravens' defense that won this game. I mean, the Titans, who are a high-flying offense. I mean, they have the wide receivers. Tannehill's been good all year, and they shut down Derrick Henry. The Ravens' defense is so good. They have so many players, and then I love, Wink Martindale as a defensive coordinator. That is what makes me think the Ravens can make a little bit of a run. It's like if they can just play that crazy defense, and you let Lamar just embrace, like, hey, dude, run the ball 16 times like you did in this game. I mean, he had 16 carries, 17 completions. They should just embrace that. Like, don't try and prove that you're some pocket passer. You can win from the pocket, Lamar. run, 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 run.
Yeah, and the way the Ravens defense after like that first drive or first couple drives, like AJ Brown was just eating them alive. And then all of a sudden they shut him down, and then they clog the middle of Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry's not able to really bounce it outside because he's running right down the middle. It was impressive, and that Ravens defense, it's gonna be. I think they're gonna provide Josh Allen and the Bills a big challenge, but it's that Lamar Jackson they can't win with him passing. Like him running is how they will make it to the Super Bowl. That's the only way because he's not the greatest passer. He makes good passes, but Lamar's legs are what I would rely on more than his passing ability.
Yeah. I'm surprised there was no fight. Like I really thought there was going to be a fight after this game. I was
disappointed.
The Ravens get that interception, Marcus Peters, and then they go and just celebrate on the logo, stomp on the logo. It really did frustrate me. Like these teams were supposed to fight. They hated each other. And then, but after the game, like the Ravens all just kind of ran off the field, even though you could see Marcus Peters like yelling at somebody, like trying to get someone to come and fight him. But
I was hoping for a fight. And then when Lamar dragged them all off, I'm like, Lamar, no, let them fight. Let's get a fight going here. We need something.
As soon as the game was over, then they were all running to the tunnel.
That's probably John Harbaugh. He's probably trying to get off the field.
Yeah, I mean, it was John Harbaugh getting his guys amped up. And it's like, yeah, it's John Harbaugh being silly. But at the end of the day, like, I think people forget the mind of an athlete when they're like, why are they so mad about standing on a logo? It's like, people forget, like, athletes don't operate like it's like a war out there. It's like battle. Like I can't stand when blue check marks talk about like, oh, why do they care about this? It's like, because that's sports. Did you not forget what sports are like? Like these guys have never like been a part of like normal life. Okay. Like sports life, being an athlete, it's like being in high school forever. When you go to the NFL, it's like being in high school forever, like high school football forever.
Yeah, if they're stomping on your logo, you're not gonna like that. Yeah, I get it. You run over the logo during a game, but that's different than the team blatantly going over and just stomping on it. Like,
yeah, it's being like, hey, I want to disrespect you. This is what I'm doing. It's like it's not like oh no, their feet touched the logo. It's not anything like that. It's just like they did that on purpose to disrespect us.
And then in the media thinks it's nothing disrespectful. It's like, shut up.
I was just hoping for a fight. I was hoping for a fight. And speaking of disrespectful, Bucks 31, Washington 23. Oh my gosh. I know this isn't meant to be a channel about the Giants, but Giants fans were pissing me off in this game because Taylor Heineke had like an average football game. And screw Taylor Heineke. I don't know why Giants fans are like, oh, it's just a falling in love with the new guy every single week. It's like, oh, this guy, he shows so much heart. It's like, dude, he dove for a touchdown. That's not crazy. Like guys do that every single week. And so I was rubbing in a little bit. It was like, congrats to Taylor Heineke for being a loser. And people are like, oh, that's disrespectful. It's like, yes, that's exactly what I'm going for. I'm trying to be disrespectful. I hate Washington. I don't get why anybody was coming to the defense of Washington. Like, yes, is Chase Young a good player? Yeah. Am I going to rub it in that Andrew Thomas dominated him and then him being like, we want Tom, I want Tom, and he doesn't do anything this game? Yes, I'm going to rub that in. It doesn't mean that I think he's a bad player.
No, yeah, I don't like. I thought we're division rivals with Washington, and they were like being like, "Well, don't go out them." It's like, what do you mean? We get to make fun of our division rivals anytime we want, and I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't on board the Heineke hype train. I was tweeted about it because
it was fun to watch, but it's like me calling him a loser isn't bad. It's fun. It's fun to make fun of them.
Yeah, he lost, and guess what? So that technically makes him a loser. He wasn't able to make the comeback.
I mean, literally a loser.
Granted, he was better than Washington's first-round draft choice in Dwayne Haskins, an XFL backup. Let's make that perfectly clear. But yeah, it was all fun and game. People sometimes can't handle making fun at another like their opponents, and like plus we dominated Washington for years at this point. That's the one constant the Giants have done.
I know he's just a and honestly, it's when guys do the Chase Young thing, it's just the same with Juju. When Chase Young goes, I want Tom. Well, guess what? You got Tom, and you didn't get him. You didn't touch him the entire game. And Chase Young may end up being a dominant pass rusher. But this season, he was overrated. Like, he had 6 sacks on the season. There was games where he just got totally neutralized. He was, I don't think he was the best D lineman for them. I thought Kerrigan, was better for them. Montez Sweat was better for them. Chase Young's probably going to be an amazing player. But this season, he was overrated. And then they're talking about, oh, well, he's leadership. I don't know. It's like, it's okay. It's like, yes, Would I have wanted Chase Young? Absolutely. Okay, but it's also cool to trash talk. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, people get offended when you trash talk people these days. I guess that's what happens. No trash talking is allowed.
All right, we're changing the word of the day to loser.
To loser, quick change.
Yeah, because we're
quick change. But I mean, the one thing I love though, they showed like the ages for the quarterbacks in each conference that are in the divisional round. The NFC has the oldest average because of Drew Brees and Tom Brady being in their 40s. I think their average is like 36. So the NFL's got the old guys heading into the playoffs. AFC is all about the young bloods figuring out what's going on there.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that the Drew Brees, Tom Brady. I mean, like that's kind of cool seeing those two old men go at it.
Yeah.
And I do hope one of them plays in the Super Bowl because it's just more fun when you have one of those guys in there.
And plus, this will definitely be the last time we see Drew Brees and Tom Brady play each other.
Yeah.
Brees is definitely retiring.
Oh yeah. I was thinking Brady, Drew Brees. We'll see. A man who soaks Gary in secret but buys a Swamara or pizza for his babe in the open is called
a loser.
And someone pilot Sophie. Oh, she has 26,000 followers. Says a loser. LOL.
Oh,
why does she have 26,000 followers?
The most random people have followers. There's nothing you can do about that.
I just replied. You're a loser.
Oh, got him. No one's gonna recover from that one.
This is weird.
I guess I'll quickly transition us to the Seahawks-Rams game. Russell Wilson, guy was supposed to be an MVP to start the year, and all of a sudden he's horrendous. He ended the year dreadfully, and they lost to Jared Goff, who didn't have a functional, and I couldn't believe seeing what the Rams did. I mean, their defense is fantastic, but I didn't think it would be just domination on their end.
Brandon Staley, if there's any defensive coach that deserves a head coaching gig or defensive coordinator, is Brandon Staley. Like everyone that I know talks about his defense, what he does. Like I'm gonna spend a couple weeks in this offseason going out and checking out what he does, and maybe I'll do like a video breakdown on the things they do. Let me just take the hat off instead of putting it on top of my head. But yeah, I mean, Seattle, what do they do? Russell goes 11 for 27 in this game, throws a pick. I don't know what they do because they're, they trade all these picks for, guys like Clowney and then Jamal Adams. You've got talent on offense. And they have talent on defense too, but I just don't understand what the Seahawks do. What do the Seahawks do? Because I do think Russ still is the top 5 QB. I don't think this kicks him out of he's not an elite QB. But I don't get what is going on with them to where they look pitiful when they play teams like the Rams.
DK Metcalf is a baby. That's what usually goes wrong with them. Yeah, I don't know.
He's annoying.
The Rams defense is great. Unless Jalen Ramsey, he wasn't fully shutting down DK Metcalf this game, but that's DK Metcalf complaining. They try to get him that little screen, be like, here, DK, here's that nice little screen for you to get you going. And then I forgot the Rams player's name, but cut that off beautifully and took it to the house for a touchdown. That's the way the Rams were going to win that game, was their defense. Because Goff, Wolford gave them a better chance to win than Goff, all because Wolford could have run around and actually throw the ball. But
yeah, that's important when you're playing QB, is being able to throw the ball.
This is the place you get that great analysis. Also,
do we get Blake Bortles next week?
I think they'd rather put Goff out there with one good hand. I think they'll be like, no, we'll take the risk. My favorite thing, I remember when we were still doing Talk John, were we bigger fans of AJ Brown than DK Metcalf? I couldn't remember.
We loved AJ Brown. Remember?
Okay,
he was both our number one wide receiver when we were that's when if there's actually one position we spent a good amount of time watching film on that year, was them. And it's I think DK Metcalf's not even the best wide receiver on Ole Miss. I loved AJ Brown. And you know who else I like? My top 3 was AJ Brown, and then Hollywood Brown 2. And then I didn't understand why people weren't higher on this guy. I had number 3, Terry McLaurin. McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin. I fell in love with Terry McLaurin. I thought he was going to be like the next Stephon Diggs. And he looks like he can be. But, DK Metcalf has been no slouch either. I don't want to turn this into DK slander, even though he is kind of annoying.
Okay, he's annoying, but people loved it because he was freaking yoked. Dude was yoked.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was gonna suck. Like I was wrong about that on DK, but I will say I was right about the AJ Brown love. Like I loved AJ Brown, and I think he can be. AJ Brown's gonna be a beast in this league. I can't wait to see what his career looks like. There's a theory, Danny, that it's hard to get shine as a wide receiver if you're not a first round pick. Like you got to really prove it. Like, and I kind of agree to that. Like Michael Thomas didn't come onto my radar until after, like it took a while. Where it's like, oh, Breeze made him. Like guys that weren't picked in the first round, I feel like I have a harder time coming around on. I really do think that's like it's a legit theory. Is that like if you're not, it's harder to be a star when you weren't picked in the first round as a wide receiver.
I think that's true because I don't know what you were thinking of Chase Claypool when you were looking at him throughout that process, but Chase Claypool made himself known through the TikToks. I learned about honestly through the first week.
Chase Claypool does TikToks too.
Yeah, not as annoying as like he like makes someone and like he makes fun of himself and makes actual funny content on like Juju, who just bothers me. I would love to know like what Pittsburgh media thinks of Juju because like I remember New York media ripped OBJ to shreds. I would love to know what Pittsburgh media does to Juju.
Juju is just like Juju's not on like annoying level isn't on Odell's level. Whereas like Juju at the end of the day is like just kind of doing TikToks. Now, what was really stupid by Juju, where I was like, and I get why people are mad at Juju, like other players get mad at him for doing the TikTok. So I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but at the end of the day, it's like he just does. He has to have fun and does TikToks. Where Juju screwed himself was this whole like, oh, the Browns is the Browns, and like was like that's where I was like, are you stupid? Like, why would you say like are you really that stupid to do that and then lose? Like, I didn't get that. Although Juju did show up and he had like 15 catches.
No, yeah, Juju was solid, but he just shot himself in the foot multiple times this year. Multiple times.
Yeah.
No Plaxico Burress reference intended.
Speaking of Claypool, though, Claypool and Metcalf are two players though who have made me take the combine more serious from now on. Because I used to really ignore the combine, or I would try to ignore the combine and draft stuff. With wide receivers, I am now really taking the combine into play now. Like if you kill the combine and you're tall, I'm getting on that combine train for you.
I love the combine. I'm hoping it still happens this year, but that's gonna be a logistical challenge to try and do it.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. Just do the combine, NFL, because I really want to do it.
Should we just talk about the main part of it that we think is this Philip Rivers' last game?
It has to be because I don't think anyone's going to sign him because he is a free agent because they only signed him to a 1-year deal. I don't think the Colts are going to want to do another year with Philip Rivers. It's the end of Philip Rivers, and it's kind of sad that he has to throw the ball 50 yards to get a Hail Mary to finish this game, and he can't even get into the end zone. Like that should be like, hey, dude, this is the end.
Yeah, but the problem is though, yes, the Colts are probably done with him. The question is Philip Rivers done with football? Like, is he going to try and find a team to go play for?
What team would want him though?
That's the one question.
The Patriots.
That would, I mean, hey, Bill Belichick does need a quarterback next year. Maybe just drag Philip Rivers back in to see what can happen. But are the Patriots right? Well, no, I mean the Patriots had all the opt-outs, so they could possibly be back as a contender at least next year. But
don't be surprised if the Patriots can get an above-average QB. They could be there, and I guess Philip Rivers could be that. It's not like they're trying to stretch. It's not like they're trying to stretch the field like crazy, or have the weapons to stretch the field like crazy. So
yeah, but Philip Rivers, that Hail Mary was just sad. I was like, man, he can't even reach the end zone anymore.
Where do you rank the three? Eli, Ben, Philip Rivers.
That's tough. I'm gonna go Philip Rivers last.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I'm gonna say Eli second, and
I agree. I don't think that's not a shot at Eli. Like I think Ben and Eli both had two amazing careers. I just thought Ben was a little more consistent. They both had the Super Bowls. Now Eli was definitely better in the playoffs than Ben. Oh, yeah. So you can make that argument for Eli, but I just go, Ben was good in the playoffs. He just kind of didn't like the first Super Bowl he got kind of carried. And I mean, I think he had like one of the worst Super Bowl victory performances in that game. But I don't know, and the game against Arizona, he played awesome. So I go Ben slightly over Eli, and then Philip Rivers. I think it's a distant third. Like Philip Rivers, he like has been bad in the playoffs. The only time he had even semi-success in the playoffs was the beginning of his career when they had that team was a super team. That Chargers team was a super team. Like their backups could have went to the playoffs. I mean, they had beasts as their backups. That team was so good, and they just choked in the playoffs every time.
Yeah, Philip. Yeah, and he while he was a beast in a wild card, he couldn't get past anyone else. I remember I forgot what year it was when Pittsburgh made their Super Bowl run. They played Big Ben in the playoffs and they just lost to them. So yeah, Philip Rivers, he was solid for San Diego, but he just wasn't the top of that class. As you said, Big Ben. Eli had those odd years where he was like the leader of the league in interceptions, like 30 interceptions. So yeah, Big Ben was the more consistent player for his team.
I mean, all three are I think all three get into the Hall of Fame first ballot, but I go Ben,
Philip
Eli.
Rivers first ballot? I don't think I can say Philip Rivers first ballot.
Well,
Unless they want to do that. If they want to do that entire class in the first one.
Who would retire this year? Larry Fitzgerald, maybe. We'll see. We'll find out Pro Bowl week. Guarantee that. Who else retired this year? Ben.
Ben's probably going to retire. Alex Smith might retire. He's got a spot.
He's not getting the Hall of Fame. No. Yeah. Oh, don't you dare say that.
Is. Are you kidding me, bro?
No. If you put Alex Smith in the Hall of Fame, I will go and piss on his statue.
Bro, his leg almost came off. They're 100%.
That doesn't make you a Hall of Famer. Alex Smith is not good. Everywhere Alex Smith has been, as soon as he's benched, that team gets like way better.
Oh yeah, that's true.
They get way better. Like they bench it for Colin Kaepernick, they get way better. They move on from him for Patrick Mahomes. They become the best team in the NFL. And then they move on from him for Taylor Heineke, and they almost win a playoff game. I mean,
no, but I guarantee though, all that doesn't matter. His leg almost came off. He will be in the Hall of Fame.
That is the horrible argument. They are not comparing the Hall of Fame because his leg almost fell off.
Yes, they'll be like he was a true hero. He'll be in the Hall.
I will protest the Hall of Fame if that happens. Who does he even go in with?
Maybe not first, but maybe they'll have like their own section.
What team would he? There's no team that even claims Alex Smith. How could he go into How could someone go into the Hall of Fame as a quarterback and there's no team that claims him?
I guarantee they'll find a way to get him in. It's just maybe they'll find a way. I guarantee.
Danny, this is the worst take you've ever had in your.
I guarantee life. He will be in the Hall. I guarantee it. I don't care how crap the take is right now.
I'm going to tweet it out from Snowman Radio right now.
He will end up in the Hall somehow. I guarantee it.
I'm like. Wow. At Danny. You're going to get slandered. Are you ready for this?
Put it out. And I'll say they will find a way to get this man in the Hall.
We'll make the Hall of Fame. Do you agree? This is how we get attention to the Snowman Radio Twitter account. I like it.
And I'm going to go respond to it really quickly so I could get my argument out there. Should I quote tweet it or should I...
Yeah, quote tweet it so people could see it.
All right. And then all right, so Bills good wild card weekend success. More football next weekend, please. And we got no, we're not gonna do college football. We'll talk about that later. Where we go next, good sir?
Steve Cohen. So this was kind of funny. And I would be so annoyed at this if I was a Mets fan. So we'll go with this first. I got screenshots on the page. Laura Goldman, who's like, who is she? Mets fans, you might be missing the real Steve Cohen's social media account. It looks like he might be on Parler app, which is a cesspool of hate, bigotry, and racism. And you can't see it in this picture, but it shows that Steve Cohen's following the Twitter account. And then Steve Cohen replied, wow, that's insane. And then she quote tweets it. She doubles down and says, please note that Steve Cohen didn't deny he had an account on the conspiracy-filled site Parler. He avoided a direct answer. So, and then Steve Cohen replied, just for the record, I don't have an account on Parler. It would be more professional if you dealt with facts and not speculation. I would be so annoyed by him. But this is what I talked about with Cohen. This is where him being on Twitter at first is all fun and stuff. But then it gets into people trying to get their clout off of him, like Laura Goldman. And it turns into this mess. So is Steve Cohen on Parler, though?
No, I guarantee he's not. The guy's a hedge fund dude. Guy wants to make money, and if he sees the opportunity for money,
doesn't mean he doesn't have a burner account on Parler, though.
If he does have a burner, maybe he just wants to see what the heck people are spewing on that site. Our guy.
Should we put a Simple Man? Should we do a Simple Man Radio?
Well, the site doesn't exist anymore. It's disappeared for now.
I thought it just did on the apps.
No, Amazon terminated their web service with them, so now they're gone.
So there's no Parler.com?
For the foreseeable future.
Oh, wow. This site can't be reached. That's crazy.
Yeah, but that woman, Laura Goldman, she is digging for the anything. I even
tweeted her.
I even told her, I said, look, I was like, you're following people that follow this account. I go after them as well at this point. She is digging for the bare minimum. This woman, I couldn't believe my eyes. And then Steve Cohen with like the greatest response, being like, "Yeah, what a crazy coincidence that I've just decided to follow account." This Laura Goldman, she is addicted with Steve Cohen, and like you said, she's trying to get the cloud off Cohen, and it backfired immensely. I've never seen so many Mets fans rally for one man in my life. We would defend Steve Cohen to the death. Because he follows Parler means nothing.
Let's go through her. And you know what? I'll share a screen so we can go through this. Hold on, StreamYard. Share. Let me get this off of there. Sorry. Share a screen. Hopefully I don't get myself in trouble with this.
Someone said maybe Steve Cohen follows Parler for the same reason I'm following Laura Goldman, for the comedic value.
Laura Goldman, journalist, provocateur, Wharton grad, should be a stand-up comedian. Instead I tweet. Okay, you're not funny. Laura Goldman at Gmail. Maybe we should try and get her on the show. Should we try and get her on? Let's wait 2 weeks and then get her on the show.
I don't support death threats, though. Let's make that clear.
Oh, she's getting death threats.
I don't support that.
You are not a journalist, honey bunch. You are, however, a effing moron. We are ending you. I don't think that was a death threat. I think that was more of like, we're ending your career, which also was kind of annoying, but
that tweet where she said, "Please note that Steve Cohen didn't deny he had an account," has 210 responses to 85 likes.
And that's a lot of likes, honestly. We're gonna go like it. Let's see if
she has 28 retweets. 26 of them are quote tweets.
That's a ratio.
She's been ratioed hard right now.
Let's see. Let's see if we can find any. Please be better, Mets fans. Looks like the guy deleted the tweet.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, don't delete the tweet. Come on, people. If you stick to your word. But this woman digging for literally anything.
I didn't see my tweet as an attack on Steve Cohen. Yes, you did.
You were trying to cancel the dude. You're like, he follows Parler. We must end him.
And even if he was on Parler, like being on Parler doesn't mean you should be like killed.
No. Like if say you just don't like Twitter.
Oh, she doesn't like Steve Cohen. Here's one talking about a disc. Okay, so she's going. She doesn't like. Let's get an older tweet. We're gonna scroll and we're gonna land on something, but we're not gonna bring up Steve Cohen. Dude, she writes about Steve Cohen a lot.
I knew he said she was addicted to him, but my lord, oh my god.
All right, let's find something. Let's go back to November. Let's get something to November. I hate reading Cohen was in too much of a rush to wait for the greatest catcher, which all right.
So is she a Mets fan as well? What?
Oh, here's one. What do you think? Should the Indians change their name? 32 responses, 4 likes.
Dude, when you're getting ratios that hard,
but she's like a Mets person.
Yeah, and she also had to say she must like the Wilpons. She must have thought the Wilpons were the greatest thing to ever grace this face of the earth.
She is a Mets fan.
I'm just confused why she's going after Cohen.
Because he's on Parler. He loves Parler. Steve Cohen loves Parler.
Get out of here.
Okay. All right, we're gonna finish. Mike Piazza votes for black jerseys and offers a great incentive. Do you really trust a roid head?
Don't go after my guy Mike Piazza like that. Come on. Greatest catcher ever. See the light of day.
Played for the Mets? Yeah, probably. All right, let's stop sharing screen now.
That's a fun little background right there.
The world would be a better place if Steve Cohen didn't exist, says Warren Reynolds.
Yeah, Warren Reynolds. Get out of here with that crap.
Okay, here's James Skinner, who's mugshot. Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Let's get to that.
So I follow the Florida Man Twitter page. As a fellow Florida man, and it's always nice to see your home city on there. Let's go through this. So this is 3 miles away from me. Brevard County, Florida. A Florida man who rode his airboat through the streets of his neighborhood on New Year's Eve threatened to kill deputies as they were taking him into custody, according to Brevard County Sheriff Office. Deputies said that they were called to Mimosa Avenue around 11:30 p.m. Thursday and saw a man later identified as Joseph Prohaska, 40, riding an airboat on the streets before pulling it into a yard. A public information officer said Prokosch knocked over trash cans and was shooting off fireworks during the incident. As deputies were on scene, they said Prohaska turned the airboat on and started to rev the engine to cause a disturbance and mock law enforcement. Prohaska was then placed under arrest and began making threats when deputies also tried to take his father into custody, telling him, "I will kill you if you hurt him." So, and he's doing charges of disorderly conduct and threats to a law enforcement officer. I'm surprised they didn't give him a DUI.
I don't know how you charge like an airboat out of anything.
You can get a DUI on a horse.
That was he turned it on and revved it in their face. That's amazing.
That's hammered drunk. Like I don't care if I go to jail. Like that's a different level of drunk where it's like, yes, I'm facing jail right in the face and I'm just gonna spit in it. Like that's a different type of drunk.
That guy's like, I'm going down, but I'm not going down without a fight. I respect that man.
That's right down the road for me. I mean, doing like the airboat with fireworks, I can see like someone in my family getting arrested for that. But you just can't threaten to kill the officer. You go from like a night in jail to a serious offense.
Yeah, but Florida people don't think, and I mean that was the most Florida thing I've heard in a while. When I heard that guy that was waving when he was stealing the podium from the Capitol was from Florida, I was like, it makes so much sense. It makes too much sense.
That guy's picture was awesome. Just
he's like, hey, I got the podium. And dude, his mugshot is even more funny. He shaved the beard. He looks so sad.
Oh, man.
Amazing. Florida we might hate Florida, but God bless Florida.
I love Florida. What do you mean hate Florida? I love Florida with all my heart.
There's some people that hate Florida.
I love Florida with all my heart. Good Lord, getting just airboat with fireworks and knocking over trash cans. Like I wish my neighbors would do that. Like I wish my neighbors could do that so like I can enjoy it, but also not have to get arrested.
I've had 2 responses. I'm being ratioed currently.
Oh yes, forgot about that. We responded to Laura. Oh, Laura Goldman responded.
What'd you say?
Cause I was like, do you really? I didn't even type it right. I said, do you really a roid head like Piazza? He said, I live in Philadelphia, so I've known Mike and his family for years. My friend was his father's general counsel. Oh, so your friend?
Oh no! Don't tell you're
told him to do steroids. Wow!
What? Going after Laura Goldman. I can't say I'm mad because she tried to cancel the greatest thing that happened to New York Mets in years, probably. That was during Mike Piazza.
I can't believe you said Alex Smith. That's the craziest thing of this whole show, that you said Alex Smith was going to the Hall of Fame.
No, let's make it clear. Not for his stats, people. I'm talking because of his journey.
He shouldn't go into the Hall of Fame then. That's the issue.
He's such a part of football. That's the issue, though. His journey is such a major part of football.
Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
It's true. It is true. If that does happen, it opens up the parameters.
Nice story. Shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
They'll find a way.
Yeah, Irish Smith sucks. Okay, let's stop beating around the bush. He's not a good quarterback. All right. Picks of the day. We got national championship tonight. Danny, you are 1-0-1. You had a push with your Washington pick. I am 2-2. I had Bears plus 10. That obviously didn't happen. Although it came close. If they would have went for the 2-point conversion, I would have gotten it, but they did not go for the 2-point conversion. Which I guess they changed the rule for. You're supposed to kick the extra point, and they just walked off the field. Maybe they
changed the rule for that.
They did change the rule?
Because technically the game, not whatever happened, Chicago wasn't going to win anyway. So I guess they said we might as well just end.
Yeah, they must have changed the rule because they used to force you to kick it, or maybe they took a knee and they didn't show it on Nickelodeon.
I think they were actually no because they changed it for the Minnesota game after the Minnesota walk off. That's when they made the rule change that you don't have to kick the extra point. So they probably maybe went up to Nagy and said, "Do you want to kick?" And he probably said, "No, we're losing." And I said, "Okay, we'll see you next year."
That makes sense, to be honest. Like, there's no reason to come out and kick that, but it is what it is. Look, Alex Smith is on TV right now. Loser, not a Hall of Famer. All right, so what are your picks? We got national championship tonight. What are your thoughts? We'll go quick. I got Ohio State plus 9. I think Alabama wins this one. In fact, I probably would have went Alabama minus 9, but I think you're going Alabama minus 9. So I just want to be different than you.
Yeah, I'm going Alabama -9. It's a solid game because Ohio State looked great on offense. Last week against Clemson. Alabama's obviously a great team. They got Jalen Waddle coming back for one game, not one game, but yeah, Jalen Waddle will be coming back. It wouldn't shock me if Ohio State does win this game. I think this is going to be a better national championship game than we've had in some time because these games are usually dreadful. Like last year, LSU just bullied Clemson. Then the year before, I think Alabama bullied Clemson, one of them. Alabama's a solid team. Don't get me wrong. They're a beast of an organization right now.
Ohio State is going to be able to score points on Bama's defense. Like Bama's defense, when we've seen it all year, like the SEC is not like dominant defensively. Like these offenses are scoring points. So I'll go Ohio State +9. I'll probably pick Bama to win, but I'll go Ohio State +9. Laura Goldsmith. We're never going to be able to end this show because Laura, she said, no, I don't even take aspirin. I said, him, not you. Duh.
Dude, Laura, you're going.
I kind of feel bad now because I think she might be dumb.
But you want to know the one annoying thing about this game tonight? It's going to go on for hours. They will drag 8 o'clock, and I guarantee you it will probably won't end until sometime after midnight.
Yeah, the college football games that go so forever.
They drag it out. It's gonna be drive, commercial, drive, commercial, drive, commercial, drive, commercial.
Are they having? Where is it? No, is it in Miami?
Yeah, and I'm jealous. I love Miami.
Are they having fans?
Yeah, Miami has fans.
A lot of Giants players down in Miami right now, actually.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, Will Hernandez tearing up the town.
I love Miami. It looks like the veteran O-line minus Kevin Zeitler. And then I saw Larry Williams is down there too. So we'll save that for Giants stories. I'm talking Giants Friday, though.
I love Miami. Great city. Absolutely.
See, I hate Miami, and I'm a Florida guy. I hate Miami.
I wish I was there right now.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow. It'll be me and Chris tomorrow. Daniel will be back on Friday. Until then, stay simple.